Hello everyone, and welcome to my first model train review. In this series I'm going to review the trains that you probably know or some of you are familiar with. In this first episode I'm going to review what my favourite present I got for Christmas last year. And as you can see on here, it's a Bachmann locomotive, and it's a National Railway Museum exclusive production, and it is Butler Henderson, an absolute wonderful engine. As you can see, it's a Class D11 built for the Great Central Railway. As you can see on the tender there. Let me just turn the box over. This is a brief history of the D11. It says here the D11 came to being as a result of the success of Robinson's D10 Director class, Class 11E for the GCR. In 1917, Robinson built his 83 Farrington 460s, but they never quite matched the wheel of the Director class. Director class. As such, the decision was taken to order a batch of 5440 Directors. They were named after GCR Directors, royalty and World War I battles. And the first batch was delivered between 1919 and 1920. A further 6 were built in 1922 due to their popularity. And then the LNER, the London North Eastern Railway, found itself short of express passenger trains as its urgent solution. Gradually took the decision to build additional locomotives, the D11, blah blah blah, and withdrawals of these engines began in 1958, but were rapid. I'm not going to spoil everything here. Anyway, we turn the box over again. Anyway, let's get on with the detail. I mean, wow, just look at this engine here. Isn't she a beauty? Now, if we look at the front here, you can see it's got a wonderful smoke box. As I remember seeing this engine at the National Railway Museum in York. Now, if we could just zoom in here. You can see it's got a funny looking handle door there. The most Great Central locomotives. If we go down we see a vacuum pipe for the brakes. And the number 506 there. Well, not 62660, because that's the number that she had when she was working with British Railways. So this is what she worked with the Great Central Railway. No, she doesn't have 5506. That's the number she had while was working with the LNER as well. As my notice here, it's got a little NRM coupling at the front here. So when you're running this engine tender first on the layout, you can pull up trains tender first, just like we see on the real engines now on heritage lines. Oh yeah, we always have to, I forgot to mention, there's sprung buffers. And we look over the top here, you see it's got a single chimney here, it's got a lovely green on there, you've got safety valves here, and I can just zoom in for you here. And that there is a whistle, as you can probably tell. Well, steam engines have whistles to warn everyone of their approach and warn they're about to depart. And if we look here we zoom in on the number here, it says 506 on the cab. And there's the name Butler Henderson. I think I remember being on there when I was little, when I saw this engine at York. And if we see here, it's a 440 locomotive. You see it's got 4 wheels at the front, 4 wheels in the middle, which are the driving wheels, and no carrying wheels at the back. I mean, take for example the other engines in the National Collection, like a Great Western engine City of Truro and a Southern locomotive Cheltenham. And I forgot to mention, if we can zoom on here, it says got a workers plate here. And I remember what I remember from my visits of the NRM, it says Gorton Works in Manchester. Yeah, she was built in 1920. I think it says she was built in 1920. Yeah, I think she was. Now, and this engine also, well, it doesn't. I think it doesn't quite mention on the box. It doesn't. Well, as you can see, this one, Butler Henderson, was basically was drawn in like the early 1960s, I think. I can't remember what year. And after that, she was like placed on display at the Transport Museum at Clapham. And I think after that, she was moved to the old railway museum, rail museum in York, the old one. Oops, sorry about the camera. And I think, and then she was basically it was restored to working order in the like I mean 1980s, the early 80s, and then she was did her running on the Great Central Railway ever since. But currently, she is basically on static display at York. But at this very moment, she's in Barrow Hill, which is in Chesterfield, in Derbyshire. But I'm not pretty sure when she'll be back in York. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Let's move on to the tender. You can see the tender here is quite lovely. You can see our Great Central logo on there. And you might notice here, if I could just move the tender to one side here. I notice here it's got a plug here. I'm pretty sure it's a permanent coupling there. But sometimes it's quite difficult to remove that. Well, anyway, I'll leave it as it is. Anyway, let's have a look in the cab. As you can see here, the cab is well lovely here. You can see you've got the regulator in the middle. There's some injectors here and the water levels for the boiler and tender. I think you could probably see the firebox clearly. It's where the fireman shovels coal from the tender to the firebox. Well, let's get the tender back onto its feet. You might notice the coal is removable. You can see here, if you remember seeing the real Butler Henderson at the NRM, you can see there was no coal. We see here, this is the removable coal. It makes it feel look more realistic. Okay, let's put this back in here. And also what comes with this set, comes with the engine, is some of these spare parts here, which I think you can probably fit on the tender and on the locomotive. Notice there's like, I bring it to full, and you can see here, there's like a shovel for the fireman, about to shovel coal from a tender to a firebox, like I've already said. And notice here, there's some screws here. I think basically probably act as like spares in case if you lose a current once. And there's here more accessories here, but I don't know what they're for. Probably for the front of the engine and I don't know. And I hiccuped. Excuse me. What comes in here is pardon me. Let's get on. Comes here is like a warranty, which I don't know what it is. I think it says for 12 months here. And if we look on here, okay, I'm not going to read all this because you might get bored. Okay, a free bracket in either double low or end scale. A counter at the end of the year. A Bachmann or Graham Ferris catalogue. Enough of that. This is like the instructions for the D11, as you can see here. Let me just put the camera down. And you can see this is instructions how to dismantle this model. Here's the body, the tender body. Anyway, sorry about that, I was just like the paper boy. And now, where were we? Oh yeah, you can see there's a tender body there, and the local body. You can see this is like the motor, which is in the middle of the locomotive. And that raindrop there is probably to lubricate. Unfortunately, I don't have any lubrication tools. And there's the tender wheels. I think those are the cogs there for the motor. And those are the main driving wheels that you've already seen. And these are the parts for the model. NRM pocket, and the tender wheels and coupling. Turn it to one side. Yeah, thank you for your choice of the Bachmann Branchline Robinson D11 Director 440 tender locomotive. The mechanism of this model requires running in without a load for approximately 1 hour in each direction at moderate speeds. I think it says curves, so these Bachmann engines perform best on curves with second radius or greater. And there's the DCC. It says here this model has a 21-pin socket for a DCC decoder. I think she's basically DCC ready or fitted. I'm not too sure. There's some replacement parts here. And it says here this model should be handled carefully as it has many finely detailed parts. It is not suitable for persons under 14 years old. And there's a postcode for the company, Bachmann Europe PLC. On the website, www.bachmann.co.uk. And the postcode is LE98EY. And as we can see here, DCC decoder fitting. Anyway, enough of that. Just look how nice it's not. Now I'm not sure how to do some running videos on it. Anyway, enough of that. And I'll see you next time. Okay, as we can see, this is Butler Henderson on the track. This is like the template layout I put up. And you can see, we're going to see how it runs. Let's just put it in a slow speed to start off with. Oop! Put it in backwards for a sudden. Look at how smoothly it runs. Like I remember seeing on the real log when it was running on the GCR in Loughborough. We could just... Oh, camera's getting away on the track. We could just zoom in on the... Sorry about the sunlight there. Okay, it says 506. I remember seeing that at the National Railway Museum in York. Let's see how she performs when running backwards. However, I'm using a DC controller here. I think this model is actually DCC ready. Stopping to make sure it doesn't derail. And just look at how nice it is in the front here. Sorry about sudden stops, because I thought this might fall off the table. Let's see how she looks like again. Okay, how nice, how smoothly it runs. I think I haven't run this one before, but anyway, now is a good time. get back to our usual position. I'll just move the camera towards the loco. And I think I'm going to finish off with this review here. I know it's a wonderful loco to look at, but I think I'll see you next time when I do another review on more locos.